Gus, the
Hi,
Rottweiler,
Gus.
wants to be on this, and he's looking out the window crying. So there we go
Aw.
for dog planning. But anyway, welcome back to our weekly Masterfully Integrated. We're going to be talking about both the One Funnel Away challenge, but specifically before we get to that part, I'm going to move the dogs. But we're going to talk about how to take an idea and implement it. And especially with what's going on in the world today, there are a lot of people, whether you have a business or you're at home not working, there's a lot of us are rethinking how we live our lives and what we want to do going forward, right? That's just a common theme about what are things going to look like going forward, from whether it's starting today or starting after things get back to normal, which nobody knows what that's really going to look like. But we've talked before about how we regroup, reassess, and look at the resources we have available, make a decision, and then make a plan and move forward with that. And that's what we want to talk about today. But one of the things that I've noticed over time, and I'm sure you have too, Amelie, is where people get stuck, right? It's like where the theory sounds good, but when it comes down to them and their actual individual situation, they get stuck. And either they don't know what to do or they don't know which to choose from. And especially within a context of no context, of nothing to compare to, or, in like this current situation where nobody really knows how to predict anything going forward, we're just rolling with it. Even when you're normally good at making decisions, it can be difficult too. So it's Wild West time going on right now, but how do you take that level of chaos and do something with it? So with that, I wanted to just share a little bit about how I came to be here with Amelie, which is the best thing that ever happened to me after Rob, my husband. But the One Funnel Away challenge is what got me here, and that's what got me thinking about why I wanted to share this with everyone in this context. So I was a flight surgeon in the Army, and I deployed to Iraq for a year. And after that, it turns out that I was exposed to toxic chemicals. And so I had this really long, slow health decline that nobody knew what was going on or why. And the information around that wasn't declassified until 8 years later. So it was this really terrible situation of not knowing what's going on. It's really frustrating being a doctor and not being able to figure it out, let me tell you. But it got to the point where I was literally, I was bedridden. I couldn't really use my hands. I couldn't really walk. I was in a lot of pain all of the time. And the days get really long when you're just laying around staring at the ceiling. So I was online just looking for something to do to occupy my mind and also be productive. I'd had to sell my medical practice. I wasn't providing for my family. Worse than that, I felt like it was a burden on them. And that whole loss, when your whole life plan went a different way, is what a lot of people are facing right now. It's like a lot of us just got the rug yanked out from under us for no fault of our own and totally unexpected, didn't see it coming. And it's a lot to deal with, not just practical purposes, but emotionally and mentally too. And having something to focus on helps get through a period of time like that. So whether you're actually looking to do something around a business or just occupy your time, it's like either way, this is a really good way to have a plan to stay focused and do something that you can share with other people one way or another. So I was dabbling around blogging. I did mobile app development. In fact, I used to program computers, and I got into mobile app development just to occupy my mind while I was laying around. And then that turned into, I entered a contest. I ended up developing a couple apps for Samsung and won a couple awards. And around that, while I was just trying to find a good book on some things that I wanted to learn how to do, I came across the TechBook publishing site, and they had a list of books they wanted people to write. And that turned into a writing job. So that was this journey of, I'm just trying to find something to do. Then I found something I liked doing, and then that turned into something that actually paid. And only if you want to share the site, it's like The book's totally out of date now, but just as a real example of what does that look like, I have a book and it's sitting on Amazon, and now I can call myself author. But there was no plan in that when I started. I was just trying, the only need I was trying to fulfill was my personal one of occupying my time and doing something. And I like teaching and I like explaining things. I'm pretty good at it. So it turned into a book. But meanwhile, so at that point, though, I was getting better and I was trying to decide, oh, what do I, it's like, I really want to do this. Was cool to earn money and be occupied. What about starting a business? And all of my business experience was offline. It was within my family as a kid with our family-owned plumbing shop. It was my medical practice after I got out of the service. It was a bunch of out of the garage little things that I did to support my journey through medical school and things like that, that I'll talk about because I think they're good examples on what to do. So I'm dabbling along. I come across the advertisement for the One Funnel Away Challenge. And by then I actually had this big chip on my shoulder because there's so much garbage on the internet. If you spend any time at all, there's a lot of garbage and there's a lot of people saying they have the magic answer to everything. And I went through a lot of garbage. So I found it and I was like, fine, it's like, I'll do this. And you know what? I'm going to document every single step and I'm going to prove that this is just as dumb as everything else I've done. I mean, I was really mad. But like, hey, it's $100, I'll do it. But in my anger, I committed to following every single step and documenting it really closely. So in that, it's like, as they go through it and they're like, hey, this is how it works. And, hey, it's really hard to start with nothing, but you can offer services to people online and you can trade to get things that you don't know how to do to start this business, or you can earn some money to turn around and invest in it. I'm like, fine, I'll get on your marketplace and I'll offer some services. And I'm like, well, I know how to write. And I know a lot of people hate writing or are scared of it. So I offered copywriting services. And I would be danged if I didn't start getting some copywriting jobs. The copywriting jobs led to people would come saying, hey, they had questions about they wanted me to write for their offer, but they didn't know what their offer would be. And so that turned into helping people with offer development, which turned into helping people with strategy. And I had a business background rolling into this. So it just turned into this journey around helping people that led me through that. And in my anger and documenting everything, it's like I was actually documenting that all the things they were telling us to do in their process actually works. And so the joke was on me. I thought I went into it just like, oh, this is garbage. And it actually turned out not being garbage. And that was such a delight after all the garbage that I'd been through that I knew I needed to go to the next step. And for me, that was, I want to move faster and get more out of people who are already at those levels above and beyond me, to learn from them. And so I went to Funnel Hacking Live, got in the 2CCX program, and that's where I met Amelie. Yay! And Amelie was my coach. That's how we met, and we just totally hit it off. And here we are now from that. But I just wanted to share that it's like, that's what a journey can look like. It's like, there's no way I knew that I would end up where I am now from where I started at all. I just knew that I wanted to do something, and I just kept trying and testing, and when something worked, I would turn more towards it and just keep developing from there. So that's what a journey like that can look like.
Yeah. And I think it's like that for a lot of people, they're, especially when, new blocks come up or new situations happen or things arise, and you just have to, adapt or die, like we talked about when we went live last time. It's you just have to kind of figure out, it's like, okay, you go down one path and it either isn't working or it doesn't feel right or something isn't right. And so then you just have to pivot, make another one and keep going. And, I think that's the case for a lot of people that, especially business owners and things like that. And particularly in the times right now during with COVID-19 and things like that, like there's just a lot of uncertainty and a lot of changes that people are having to make, a lot of adaptation to the current environment and things like that. So yeah.
Absolutely. There's a lot of that. And that's where, again, so with us both having this background in One Funnel Away and around our theme of helping, people regrouping, and we've put the offer out there in our previous ones, like, hey, we're willing to get on a call and just help, because sometimes it's hard to see things when you're the one right in the middle of it, right? So having that outside perspective can be really helpful. And so around that, with what we do in helping with systems and strategies, just share again a little bit more around how this works. So One Funnel Away is a 30-day challenge that takes you from nothing to an actual online offer that you can actually sell in 30 days if you're following the steps from one to the other. And you don't have to have an idea, and you don't have to know what you're doing, other than you have to be able to, function on the internet.
Right. A little tech experience, not a lot, but because you can Google all kinds of things and YouTube videos of everything.
Yep. And what we've added that we're offering along with this, if you choose to do it, is our system of how to take that and turn it into a plan to go forward, because they do show you what you need and the process does work. But we've found over time that people get stuck in the steps when it comes down to their individual situation. And if you've been looking around at all online, you see that, you need to know your why, right? It's like, well, everybody's why can be different. But
it can change, right? And it can change.
Absolutely. Mine did. Mine was, I just need to occupy my mind and not go freaking crazy laying in bed to, now this is super fun. And, and it can actually do other things.
So real quick, Chris Mims is with us. So she's our bookkeeper. She's fantastic. She's watching, and Amber Brooks is watching live with us. So hi, ladies.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Amber. Hey. So along those lines, so when I went through the One Funnel Away challenge, I had that whole I don't know what to do idea, and I was just sitting over coffee, and I was mad about political stuff. And I don't like talking about political stuff, and I don't like being mad about it. But I was mad because my coffee company started being political, and I was like, I just want to change my coffee, because I was trying to avoid that. And so it's like, well, fine, I'm doing this One Funnel Away challenge. Why don't I just do coffee? And that led to I found out that, okay, so first of all, disclaimer, physical products are not the best thing to start with. But that was just what was in my head as something to build a project around. And I just wanted to learn how to do this. So it turns out, though, that there's a roaster on the other side of town. And her name is Amy Malloy. She's with the Houston Coffee Exchange. And she's just the nicest person ever. I just called her up and said, hey, this is what I was thinking about doing. And it turns out that she helps, there's a lot of nonprofits that use coffee for fundraisers. She has so much experience. Her father, she learned from her dad. This is all she's done her whole life. And she was like, pretty much, here, you need to this. She knows everything there is about starting a coffee company and how that all works. And it's like, it never would have occurred to me that somebody in business would take the time to share all that. And she's just this tremendous wealth of knowledge. And
do you want me to share the? You want me to share
you can share her screen.
You can see it.
Mm-hmm. And so, if you're looking for ideas, it's like, here's an idea, right? And it's validated because people like coffee, and you can do all kinds of things with it. As far as, it's like local churches use it as fundraisers versus just starting a coffee business. But it's as simple as you just need a source, and then you just need a place to sell it. And that sounds oversimplified, but the actual plan to take that idea of, hey, I want to sell coffee, to a plan that you can implement and turn into a store, probably online right now while everybody's staying at home. And they're open. Food is considered essential, and coffee is food. So they are open and up and running as well, where I know right now it's difficult in making choices when your suppliers may also be shut down during these current times. But that's an idea, and I can show you. I have a little show and tell around it. It's like, this is how far I got. It's like I actually have coffee, and I actually made some coffee swag.
Oh, nice. Was this your first one?
This is a dog bandana because, yeah, this was my first one. And that's something that I think it's like we're probably going to use as an example and go ahead and get it launched while we're sitting around regrouping on what to do. Because I really like to have, when I advise people, it's like I really like to have the firsthand experience and stay current on what's really going on. So we have some experiments or journeys like that I think we're going to start to help people who are looking for things to do. But that's one. And then another one I had, this was actually when I was in medical school. This is around idea generation, and then we'll get into the process in a little bit. But so my story is like I went to Caltech. I know I'm talking, yeah. We don't need that.
I was trying to make the screen bigger, but it like just switched all of our faces around in a circle. So I apologize.
That's all right. I'll just keep talking while you take that.
You just keep talking. I'm going to change the screen around. I was trying to make it so it made the website bigger, but that is not what happened. It made you bigger, and then I just went in a circle. I apologize for distracting you.
No, it's funny. Hey, we just roll with it, right? It's fine. But just an example is so I went to Caltech and ended up having to leave before I graduated just because of stuff going on in my family, joined the Air Force, and then ended up going back to school in medical school. But by the time I was in medical school, I had 3 little kids. And anyway, there were times that I needed a little more to make ends meet. And one of the things I had picked up from Caltech was my mug, my beer stein, right? With the school seal and personalized with a nickname. I know the camera's a little backwards.
No, there you go. I got you.
But anyway, it's a really nice souvenir from school, and I love my mug. And the Texas Tech Health Sciences Center School is really small. Our whole class was around 100 people. We fit in one lecture hall, and so we didn't have the kind of swag and stuff that the alumni associations have for the greater student body. And at the same time, I had a hobby of doing ceramics. So and our class was trying to raise money for a graduation party. So I'm like, okay, well, so I taught, it was like, well, I can make these mugs for us and the school. And it's like, well, yeah, but you need permission from the school to use the school seal and all that. Well, one phone call to the dean's office and they're like, oh, if you're doing it as a fundraiser, then there's no licensing fee. You don't have to do any of that. That's fine. And they were I don't think anybody in medical school had ever actually done this kind of thing. So they probably didn't know what to say. But with that, it's like, I literally just made order forms, sat in front of the cafeteria between classes, had my little example Caltech mug, and they could fill it out, and I was personalizing it for their name and their graduation year. And then I just ordered the decals, and at home at night, I would just sit and put the decals on the mugs and put them in my kiln and fire it up.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was relaxing for me. Everybody got really nice, graduation memento for their class. Our class raised money. I made the ends meet that I needed to during that period of time. And that's, and it worked out. And so that's just a real example of solving a problem that actually turned into solving 2 problems, mine and my class's fundraising, and provided a really nice thing that people wanted. Mm-hmm. So, it's like, it can be as simple as that. But how do you do it? It's like, you do it by just doing it. I could have sat in front of the cafeteria and had nobody say yes. That's testing. What's pivoting? When they say no, say, hey, is there something else you'd really like?
Yeah.
And you go from there. So that's just another example. But anyway, that brings us back to the whole one funnel away thing and where to get started. So the last example I want to talk about before we get into how to do it is back to this theme. It's like of people being at home all of a sudden. So my husband flies for Southwest, and he's not flying for the next month. Obviously, there's not a lot of flying going on. Mm-hmm. And the challenge there is pilots get really cranky when they don't fly. And I'm sure people can relate to the crankiness of people being at home. We've been home for a while, right? And he also has a highly specialized, non-transferable skill right? He can't fly his computer, and he can't sit in the driveway and fly our truck. He can't fly anything but airplanes. So what does a guy who lives, eats, and breathes flying do when he's forced to not fly? It's like, well, he's got a bunch of grumpy friends that are sitting around not flying too, right? So I've been talking to him about this same concept of regrouping. What can you do? You need to occupy your time during the day. And we came up with the idea of just him sharing all the stuff that he loves to fly with his buddies in a happy way, rather than what they're doing up till now, which was the griping way of, we can't fly. And developed a little.
Do you want me to show that?
Yeah, you want to show this?
Page?
Yeah. So the story around this, if you're a pilot,
let me see if I can, hold on one second. Let me see if I can switch. There we go. All right. So you can see it bigger. Hold on. There we go. There we go.
There we
That's
go.
what I was trying to do from the beginning.
Yeah,
but
that's super cool. That is super cool. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So in my unit, we had a monthly award that was just a goofy award, like, just amongst us. Like, whoever had the most flying time was called the stick pig, because there's a lot of rivalry between the pilots to try to get the most flying time. And so it was just a little stuffed pig on a little trophy stand. And that's the meaning behind stick pigs. If you're a pilot and you love to fly, you're a stick pig. And so created a little mascot. He's starting his Facebook page. He's rallying his friends to just share it's like they have pictures and videos and everything, and they just it's the equivalent of hanging out and talking what they love, only doing it by making a place for it online. And that's a simple way an idea can start, with just sharing what you love. It's like, does he have a product in mind? Does he have a service in mind? It's like, not in particular. I mean, we thought the pig was cute. And so, what might be a next step is stick pig swag.
Right.
Right. And so then if you have that, well, how do you do that when we're all stuck at home? How do you source those things? Yep. And so as an example, it's like, well, here's Shopify. And Shopify is a place you can set up an online store. They actually do print on demand, where you don't have to do any of the product sourcing like it did with the coffee or the mugs or anything else. You just need a little design. And you don't have to make the design. There's all kinds of designers out there who would love to make a design for you. And then print on demand is when someone orders something, your design is applied to the product and is packed up and shipped, and you don't have to handle any of that. It's a very, very simple business model. So there's all kinds of ways to do things. And this in particular, I wanted to show as an example of someone who has a very a skill set that doesn't necessarily, he can't teach flying online. He's not rated as an instructor. He can't take people out. It's like he literally can't really do what you normally would think he could do while we're stuck at home in these times. And yet here's a way he could turn that into an actual business. So say he wants to do that, Amelie, how does he go from here?
All right,
how does he take that idea?
Pull up the template. All right. Can you see it? Okay, there we go. It's up. There you go. Oop. There we go.
Okay. So here's going with this. So like I said, the One Funnel Away Challenge, it's just a structured start to finish 30-day thing to go from nothing, develop an idea, turn that into an offer, and the beginnings of marketing your business, where the goal is, the intent behind this program is that you're actually making sales before you finish it, if you're following all the steps. And you have to have faith in the process, and you have to not go down too many rabbit holes, and you have to really not set the expectation on yourself to be an expert in every skill set that's needed to do this from start to finish. It's like they address all of those things that get people stuck. And then, like I said, where we saw people still get stuck was around their own things, like writing your own biography, right? Or it's terrible. I hate writing about myself.
Somebody else, a lot of people do.
Yeah. But it's the same thing where you have an idea and then you start second guessing it. And that's something where it's like where what we offer on top along with the challenge is, just having that outside perspective, somebody to run your ideas by, somebody to help you refine it and those kind of things. But within this, that structure of, for me, I got lost online for a really long time. It's like that Harry Potter bag that has the whole other dimension into it. And you can open up your computer and get lost for hours, and not even necessarily on social media. And so what we have here in this board is, here's the challenge broken down to the step-by-step each day, the checklist for what you need.
You want me to just open one of them up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Can you see that okay? I think you can see that right up on the screen. Okay, great. So there you go.
Yep. And so it's kind of small, but this helps you stay contained, right? So you can watch the videos, go through the instructions. Here's where you can knock them out and make sure that you're staying focused on that. It's helpful if you set a time frame for yourself to keep from getting lost down rabbit holes. And Amelie, if you want to demonstrate this on, is there a on a checklist on that one? The cool thing about this is, for any item in the checklist, there's those dots on the side within the checklist that if you click on those, you can convert that to a card. So on some of these days, there's a checklist of things to do, but those things, say you're getting to product creation and you need a designer to do your little stick pig mascot, or you need a copywriter to write.
I can go to that one. You want me to go to that one?
You can, but my point is that within these checklists, it's like you can convert an item to a card and manage it from start to finish. And so you're not sending things off for people to do and then forgetting to follow up on them.
Yeah, so if you wanted to convert this to a card to delegate it, right, you would just convert to a card, takes it off the spreadsheet, and then, what is it at the bottom probably? So then you would come over here, put it in progress, right? And then go into your quality review and then completed. And then, well, I guess I should have put it in delegate first. My bad. So you'd put it there first, and then once it's in progress, but you'd be able to delegate it from here, and then you'd be able to manage it all inside of there, you know, and once you initiate the first step, you would move it over to initiate and delegate. You know, so if you're working on this first one, you'd put this over here, and then you'd start managing that. And then if you needed to delegate something outside of what you're doing, then you would just convert that checklist to a card. And then you can delegate it, move it to in progress. Once it goes to quality review, comes back to you for review, and then it goes to completed. And you can add, you know, different steps inside of here. That's just the general process that we use as far as the list that of how it's broken down. So that's the nice thing about that.
What I find about this layout is, like, it takes this course and it turns into something really discrete. It's like, it's just this many things, right? And within each one, there's just this many, and I can see them where I can't really see them when I'm looking at a video that says, you know, 45 minutes on it. So I just find that helpful as far as, like, motivation and staying with it. Is like, I can chase checklists all day long, and it just feels good. It's rewarding to check one off, and it keeps you going with each step, and it helps you stay focused when you start getting to that, oh, I'm getting stuck, what do I do? It's like, if it's an individual question or problem, we're there to help out. But if it's just, I don't know, I woke up this morning and I'm not sure where to start, it's like, pull up your board, pull up your next card. What is your next item? And that just keeps you rolling really quick.
I think the biggest thing with projects like this is it can seem so big, right? Like, it can just seem like it's a lot, like, oh my God, where do I start? How do I know? And one of the things that I know, you know, Janine and I do together is, like, we plan the next day the night before. So we know what we're going to be working on. And, you know, an idea is just an idea without a plan. Like, if an idea is not attached to a plan with some sort of deadline, some sort of milestone, it's just an idea, and it's really just going to stay that way without having a plan. And what this does is takes this big project and just breaks it down to just tiny steps, because you're just looking at one card at a time. Now, if you're going to delegate it and have teams of people, maybe you got your kids joining in on it, you know, you're going to want to look at the big picture and get things delegated out, but it helps to just break it down. So you're not looking at this huge, big thing. You're just looking at the tiny piece. And as you go through them, once you're done, you're going to have accomplished the big picture, but you're just going to start one step at a time, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. And because it can be overwhelming like, oh my gosh, there's a lot to do, which there is a lot to do. But if you're just looking at it as one step at a time, it makes it easier to, you know, break it down, get through one step, delegate one piece at a time, and to get through to the end of the project and actually accomplish it.
And it also answers the question at those steps of how much is enough, right? When do I stop with this and move on to the next one? And it helps a lot with that.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And you brought up the kids, right? It's like it's funny. It's actually the glorious thing about working with kids is like, they don't overthink things. They really don't. And if you were to just go through these steps with them, it's like they will blow your mind. It's like they will fearlessly go forth and not second guess anything and just do it. To me, it's like watching the 3-year-old on the double black diamond ski slope behind their parent, and they just have their hands in their pocket and their little hat with the pom-pom blowing behind them. They're doing, the stuntman James Bond scene behind their parents, but to them, they're just following mom or following dad. It's no big deal, right? And it's pretty cool how they'll roll with that. But anyway, so that's what we started for this. In this program, it's like for people who really have no idea, but know that they want to do an online business. One of the suggestions that they have around that is marketing as an affiliate, and that's where you're marketing somebody else's product or offer. And the idea behind that is that you're learning all the things about digital marketing and you're generating revenue. So when you get to that point that you come across your own idea that you want to develop, you know how to develop, how to promote and market it. And that skill set is already there. So within that, it's like we have a Trello board around that.
Yeah, and I'll show that. I just want to add one thing. So, whether you have a Trello board or you don't have a Trello board or you have another kind of account, whatever you have, and even if you, don't have like what we have set up, the most important thing is to have something set up, like whatever that looks like, whether it's broken down on a spreadsheet or a Google Doc or even on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. Our main thing is just have a plan around it so you can get it accomplished. We just prefer to have it broken down in this way because it helps us to manage the projects better and to be able to delegate, track things, know where we are, have a plan. And so that's just like our biggest recommendation when you have something like this. And I think the other great thing about what's going on right now in the world and with COVID-19 and just a lot of the uncertainty is that this will give you direction. It'll give you focus. It'll get you grounded and give you a direction to go in. And when you're feeling uncertain, in my opinion, when I'm feeling uncertain, the best thing I can do is have a routine and have a direction to go in. And it gives me some peace, some peace of mind. So anyway, so I just wanted to add that. But do you want me to, you want me to share the affiliate one now, the affiliate? Yeah,
you can share that one really quick. I mean, and thank you for making that point because I keep saying Trello, but absolutely. Well, first of all, Trello is free, so you can use it, but it doesn't matter. It's like I transitioned to it because I used to index card before Trello existed, right? And so it's just visually, I find it pleasing. But yeah, there's all kinds of tools out there. Does it really? Don't get stuck on deciding which one to use.
Right.
Like, just pick one. And it's okay. So those are the kind of decisions that you should be able to make quickly. Yeah.
Chris said she loves Trello. Aubrey said, that's my sister, Aubrey. She said she loves it. Hi, Aunt. And Chris said she loves Trello. So I'm assuming she manages all her projects there.
So. That's awesome. So anyway, so those were some examples of ideas and how to come up with ideas. So whether you have a business that's just at a full stop right now, or you're just trying to regroup when things are going weird, just like really take that big step back and look at the resources you have, not in the context of your business label. If you have a building, if you have equipment, if what are your resources? Brand independent. If you just were, if you just got these at a garage sale, right? What?
And we talked about that last time, right? Like we talked about how to take inventory of the skills and the equipment and the materials that you might have, and then how to adapt to what's going on right now and how you can use them. But
and if you have kids, ask your kids, ask your friends. We're available for a call. Or again, like if you have that spouse, it's like sometimes taking your mind off, if you've been really digging into your stuff and not seeing an answer. It's like taking that step back and helping someone else, whether it's other business associates, someone at home with you. It's like when you start getting into creative mode with them, then that can turn around and be like, oh, now I just had an idea for my stuff that I never would have thought of, were I not putting myself in a different context with looking at this.
So do you want to just explain how you broke this down in the board? Because I think it's really great and super helpful to getting started and understanding affiliate programs, the way that, and it helped to, basically the whole idea behind this is just taking this big project, this big idea, and just breaking it down so that it's just in bite-sized pieces, so that way you can get through it. Because there's a lot. Like the affiliate bootcamp program it's a lot, and it can be easy to get so consumed in it. But Janine did a fantastic job of breaking this down. And so if you want to just kind of explain that a little bit.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is that they changed their approach over time, where they used to dig right into the super technical details of here's how you do emails and here's how you do this. And what they converted to was they took their top most successful affiliates and asked them, what would you do if you're starting over? And each one of those people laid out how they would do it. And what's really interesting about that is, even though this is actually how is a strategy, a proven strategy to affiliate marketing from each of these people, they do have different approaches around how they do it and where they do it online. That answers that question. You know, for us as individuals, it's like where one person's approach might really suit you and another person's doesn't. It's like, here's where you can see real examples that do work of how different people do it, and it helps you find one that suits you best, and then you can roll with it. So each of these cards is around each of those strategies, and you can pick any one of these cards, and within it again is like, these are the steps that they would take to start with affiliate marketing. And so whichever one of those you choose, then again, you can take that checklist, convert each of those cards into the task, and then address each one individually. So it's super focused. And so in this one, it looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff here, but really you're just picking one of these.
Whichever one like resonates with you most, like whatever one makes most sense for what you want to sell or who you want to be an affiliate with, or whatever one makes the most sense. But again, like you said, that those checklists, the way that you built it was with the checklist. So you kind of took each of these people's things, broke it down with the checklist, and then you can turn them into the cards. And then you can either set yourself up, put due dates on them for yourself, or maybe you're delegating it to your team or your kids or your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, depending on who's not doing anything. If they're bored, you might be tasking them, adding that onto the honey-do list, whatever you need. But it allows you to take the card, decide who it is that you want to follow, their guidelines, and then turn those things into tasks. And then you can start delegating them, and then just track your whole project right here in this this kind of board.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised. There's an interesting thing about once you make a decision and decide to do something and share that vision with people, it's like it's amazing the kind of help and support that you'll get in that, where not too many people actually take that dive, right? And lots of people will do the ideas like you talked about. People will talk about ideas for everything all day long.
Right.
And then there's the people who actually try that next step. And the number of people who keep making it further down that line gets smaller with every step. But but it can take you on an incredible journey to do amazing things.
Awesome. So we're gonna put our link to our One Funnel Away funnel that has access to these boards, and we're going to put that into the comments. What else is involved in it? We're giving both these.
Yeah, we have within these boards, it's like I've actually gone through and included links to actual tools and resources that are needed with each of the steps. So you don't have to go down the rabbit holes along your way.
Janine did that for you.
Yeah, I did that for you. Like, this is
did all the going down the rabbit holes for you.
Yes, don't go there. It's scary. And it wastes a lot of time, right? It's more fun to and rewarding to make progress and keep moving and getting that momentum. So I've done that through trial by fire for you guys. And then again, the thing that really got me stuck was the what about me and my particular thing. And so within that, what we're offering is actual one-on-one time with you guys via Voxer. So if you have a question, if you're actually stuck where you don't want to throw it out to a group of people or get lost in the crowd or whatever, it's like, just need that personal, it's like, I get the theory, but what about me? That's a huge thing. And that was something that would have moved me along a lot faster. That's where I get the most stuck, is it's like, okay, I'm down to these last two things. Which one should I go with? I don't know. Right. That kind of thing. So that's what we have. And we'll add the link in the comments.
Awesome. So we're really excited to be offering this and offering the boards. And we are going to offer some one-on-one time to help you work through any issues that you have through Voxer. And then also offer templates in ClickUp. So it won't just be in Trello, it'll be in ClickUp as well. So we have them in both places. And possibly we might translate it to Asana, but not sure yet. Chris said the OFA challenge was overwhelming for her. Yeah. No, I mean, we hear it all the time, and for both of us as well. Without breaking it down, it seems like it's a lot to take on. So that's why we wanted to do this and break it down to make it easy to process and get yourself through through the challenge, the 30-day challenge. So we're going to put the link in the comments. Once we're done with the video, we'll get it up there. If you have any questions, please leave comments. Leave the questions in the comments. If you aren't sure if this is right for you, feel free to reach out, or, like I said, leave a comment, and we're happy to answer any questions you have. And if you are catching the replay, give us a hashtag replay. We will be back next week at 11 a.m. Eastern. And if you have any questions that are outside the OFA boards and project plan, things like that, feel free to drop those in the comments as well, or reach out to us individually. We're happy to take your questions, and we can answer them on our live next week. So we are really happy that you were here. Thank you, Amber, Chris, Aubrey, for joining us live today. And Chris said she's a checklist kind of girl. Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. And I just wanted to throw in, stay tuned, because we will keep putting up on our page progress on these, so you can see what things look like in the real world, out in the wild, as they're being developed.
Yes, awesome. So we'll get those up, and so we will see you next week. Thanks again for joining us live on Masterfully Integrated, and we will see you soon. Bye.